Hi, my name is Kelly Niedermeyer, and here at Chief Manuelito Middle School we are sponsoring the SharePoint as an introduction to kind of getting it in the throughout the school district. And our team, the Team Lobos, the 8th grade team, has found that it's very successful in that we can put documents up very easily. Each of us can go in and edit it. We already put our summer school list on SharePoint so that it was easily accessible for our team as well as the administration to use. And we really like this form of communication because it just simplifies the process of being able to send messages to and from each other and stay connected. There's announcements. We can have our own team announcements. We can have school-wide announcements. There's a lot of amazing pieces going on in there, and I'm really looking forward to using it a lot more next year and learning a lot more about it. And I definitely recommend it for other schools to try.
I'm really happy that we've had the opportunity to get SharePoint. We've had that experience, so it helped us think about how we could use the SharePoint. And it's really great because we can put things on there, just sending it one time, it's there, and people can add to it. The other thing that is helpful, the announcements. It's really good to have the announcement piece and the calendar, and it's in one location. The information that we can, where we can be recording student achievement. It helps all of our goal teams to get that information, and then everybody knows where they can look to find that information. The mechanism for, there's a way that it can be the one single file that is on the SharePoint, and people can check it out, they can add to it. It's not having to oversave so many things and lose some data. It's just, it seems more efficient management. We've had some computer challenges, but we've been able to get some help right away. We're able to ask questions and get help right away, so that we haven't had any big delays in getting people to be able to access it, even though that still is a challenge with the equipment that we have. We really have to start looking at how do we keep upgrading so we can truly use it efficiently, and that everybody can have access to it, because it's got to be the central communication place for our school. I think the training that we need to do would probably be ongoing. For example, where we store our data or the other communications that goal teams have, I think we need to keep updating everybody on how to do that. And I've been really proud of the staff that they have jumped into using it so well. They actually see other ways that it can be used, and so that's the way that it's growing here.
I have to say that during the actual SharePoint training that happened a few weeks ago, I noticed that there were a few teachers in the training in my grade who rarely are too excited about any sort of training, had seemed to be maybe resistant to trying new things in the past. But during this training, there was definitely some excitement coming from them, and this whole idea of teachers having access to SharePoint, being able to post things, being able to communicate together, and it being not less of a top-down thing and more of a community thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I would also just like to say that from a practical standpoint, we didn't have a ton of time to use the system, but when we did, it was very useful. It made things much more efficient. We actually created some documents that we all needed to add to and put input into, and we were able to do that without the kind of email chain game that happens where the document gets passed around to everybody, and then the team leader has to go back and track down everything and print it all out.
I'm thinking about the SST process at our school, and we have these meetings with students, we come up with these plans, and then everybody has this kind of scattered paperwork. And if we had SharePoint where we could just be updating one document with tracking information and results, what was working, what was not working, and then you log in at any time and see how your colleagues were doing with a particular student, I think that would have saved a tremendous amount of time and just streamlined the whole process of trying to help students in need.
Yeah, I think student achievement could definitely be improved just by, efficiency is the big thing, all the way from the EPSS process to just down to teams taking care of all the stuff that they need to take care of. But I definitely see it as more just making all of our lives easier and not being relying on kind of clunky email.
So I've been asked to talk about SharePoint a little bit and the visions that I've had for it. SharePoint, well, let's go back a little bit. We were using Google Docs to collect CBM data, and it was very cumbersome in the fact that I couldn't put the entire CBM data folder onto Google Docs without it crashing. So I could only put one quarter at a time, which meant that I had to take all of the data off and move it to another place and then restart every quarter. So then when Shannon Steffes and Barry Lambton came to me, or came to the principal meeting and talked about SharePoint, it was really exciting to be able to put all of those documents onto a place where I could actually see the entire quarter, see the entire year, and have all of the grade levels in one, or each grade level in one document for reading, writing, and math. So making the data collection and the analysis much more user-friendly. What we've also found with the SharePoint is the fact that we're able to put all of our documents on for BLT meeting notes, a calendar, events coming up, things of that nature that people can go into and see what's going on a daily basis. We still do announcements and what have you, but the important points are put onto SharePoint so that teachers have a running document of what's going on. The other really neat part of it is that I was able to this year put all of our pre and post data on SharePoint so that the goal teams could look at all of that, and I did not have to use tons of ink printing off multiple copies of all of the data that we had in color. And so they were able to actually go up on SharePoint, get the data they needed, make parent-friendly goal team poster boards for our last share out for parents, and it's just been a really great tool to be able to use. Our vision for it is that I would like to see, for next year we will definitely still do a handbook, but I think we'll download the handbook for the teachers, the handbook for the students on it, and all of the policies and rules for the school. I can think of multiple uses that we'll be using SharePoint for.
I've been using it a lot to disseminate information for next year. I've got room assignments on there. I put them, since the staff is still learning how to use SharePoint, I've been putting them into the announcement parts as attachments. I've also put links on the side, on the right-hand side of the page, so they can just click on things there. They can look at a map of the new building. One of the things that will be coming up shortly on there is going to be the fire exits, what routes you're taking during fire drills, stuff like that. I've been putting a lot of gang-related pictures and stuff on there for teachers to look at so they know what to be looking for in their classrooms, on kids' notebooks and stuff. I've also been putting construction pictures that I've had for the last year now in the process. I put those in there so people could look at them and see the progression of the construction. I'll be adding some more today, actually.
We're going to put all of our report out slides on there and all the data we've collected, like measured progress for next year and gates, and I think that's it. Well, everyone can look at where their kids are, and then but it'll be especially useful for the English department. We'll also have our curriculum on there.
As IC, we plan to use it for our CMP program next year, where the teachers will have all the materials right there on the SharePoint. That there's a way that we can also grade them on there, where the ICs have access, that everything can be done there. We can cut back on the paper load that we've used in the past. Here at Mia Mirror, what we'd like to do is we're going to try to individualize our professional development as much as we can, other than what is mandated for us to do. And we would like to have an area where teachers can blog or put in what they've learned from their classes, or online courses they take or any readings they do, and share with other people. Jolene has developed for the English department a scope and sequence for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. It might be good to put that on there, so let's say a teacher leaves and comes in and doesn't know the curriculum.
Right.
They can go right to SharePoint and find out exactly what their pacing guide is and what their curriculum is for.
Or even in the summer when they're gone and
Gone.
they have questions for me and I'm like,
Yeah.
You know, I can go to SharePoint and go, well, this is what they teach in English, you
Right.
know. As far as my job goes, we went to an electronic discipline referral, and actually that's accessed through SharePoint, and then it's sent directly to my discipline secretary, who prints it out, and then I look at them from there instead of teachers having to walk them down to us. And that's all, and then they can actually type it in there instead of handwriting it, so I have no questions about what does this say or anything like that. So we've actually gone to that process for discipline. It says we have to keep a folder for each kid with their discipline referrals. What we're doing with that is we're going to develop, and we have it internally based right now on our computers, but what I'd like to do is get it so that the other principals and myself and our discipline secretary have folders in there where we can look at the kids. You know, this kid got a referral, Joe Blow, he has a folder, we put it in there, the document, so if Frank needs to look at the kid's folder, instead of having to go dig it out of a filing cabinet, it's there electronically on SharePoint.